Hello, everyone. Today we're telling stories. It's story time and deliver. So, Jake, we've both had a lot of experience teaching, and we have some stories under our belts. And so, why don't you tell me a story that the audience might find interesting in your experience as a teacher? And then I'll try to top it.
Oh, okay.
You didn't know I was going to say that.
I didn't know you were going to say that.
And then you try to top mine.
Okay. All right.
And I'll try to top that.
Wow.
You get the pattern.
Yeah.
So you first.
All right. Okay, then I'm going to go to my least tense one first, then I guess. I will share a story. I used to, at one time, I taught middle school. I did it for 4 years. This is after I taught at a probationary school, so that enrichment action for almost 4 years. So my first year teaching middle school was the most difficult year in my teaching experience. Yeah, I would say so. And I had a really difficult time at first year. I came in with 11 teachers to this school called Elizabeth Learning Center. And by 3 years later, everyone was gone except me and another person in that group of 11 teachers. So you could tell it was a difficult time at that school, especially with middle school. Most of us were teaching middle, high school, elementary. Well, there's elementary as well. So it was a tough year. And I remember coming home and just being like frustrated, not sure if I wanted to do this anymore. I really thought about not coming back the following year just because the kids were tough. They were doing things like getting the, those hoses for to take out fires. What are they called? The fire extinguisher. And at one class nearby, they got the fire extinguisher, same kids I had, and they were dousing a teacher in a room. It was nuts. It was that kind of year. I mean, I can't imagine that happening today, but it was that kind of locking a teacher in a closet, all this happening. So one day,
When you say locking a teacher in the closet, was that
yeah,
teacher named Jacob Aguilar or?
no. I remember a teacher once threatening myself and my buddy Dave Dorff to put us in the closet one time, but that was middle school as well. But that's when I was a student. But no, I'm talking about being a middle school teacher, and this is another middle school teacher who was basically thrown in this closet, walk-in closet, and was in there for a few minutes. And so I could go on and on with those stories. But for me, the most difficult time happened was one day I was having a tough day, and I was talking to my students, and there was this one young lady who sat a couple rows in front of me, and she was just staring at me, and she was a tough one. She was a tough egg. And I remember I sat down in my chair, and I sat on a tack, like one of the big ones though. And I was grimacing in pain. I didn't want to give myself away like I was in pain. And that young lady was like a couple rows in front of me and just staring at me. And she looked at, she said to me, "Does that hurt?" And she knew exactly, the little devil did it to me. And I said, "Yes." And I remember just not knowing what to do. The following year, of course, I got my act together. I said, "You know what? I'm going to be in charge here." And I had all these procedures and rules. And middle school needs that. You need a lot of, it's not just teaching in middle school. It's obviously getting that piece of the, the behavior on track. So, yeah. That's my first story, Ruben.
So I was going to start with a different story as well, but now I'm calling an audible because you talked to middle school. I will talk about a middle school story.
Okay, there you go.
So involving a girl in middle school. We try to
Those devils.
There was this girl who was just contradicting me every step of the way. Hey, the sky is blue. What do you mean the sky is blue? It looks a different color to me.
Yeah, I know them.
Hey, here's the whiteboard. Why has it got to be white? And it was like one of those things. It's like, oh, you're killing me. You're killing me here. And it was like me doing the whole thing that I do, where I'm like, let's do playtime, let's act, let's do creative writing, And she was just staring at me like I was the biggest jerk in the world and contradicting me and standing up. And finally, I did something that I cannot believe I do. And I hope this isn't going to get aired, right? It's
I don't think so. Not if it's inappropriate. Of course not. No, no.
not going to get aired.
Nah, probably not. Probably won't
Um,
make it.
anyway, I went to the principal. I walked out of class. And I went directly to the principal and I said, I would never do this today. I said, either she goes or I go.
That was it.
And and to the principal's credit, like,
Hmm.
the principal went up to the girl and goes, "You got to go." She didn't kick her out. She pulled her out.
Pull her out.
But to me, it's like I would never do that today. That's putting the principal on, putting her in a difficult situation. But man, there's my middle school story. Top it.
Middle school. I can't top it. I mean, I could.
No,
I guess.
no. Story. What I'm
Right,
saying is,
I know that. I know. But I was thinking.
I try to top it. Your turn.
All right. Okay, that was a good one. This is back when I was working at the SOLA Enrichment Action Program, right, the probationary school. And it was one day I was at the administration office in down East LA, and I was coming down with another supervisor, and we're coming down the steps, and across our way we see on a fence a young man tagging graffiti on the wall, and so we knew that the last 2-3 weeks before, there's somebody would come and graffiti on the wall, tag it, and then somebody would come and clean it up the next day. It was just happening like that for the last, probably for about a month. I remember it was happening for some time. And so as I'm walking down the steps with this other supervisor, we're walking down, and I look across and I'm just angry. Like, why is this happening? Like I'm taking offense to it. So I start walking across the street while he's tagging. Like the teacher or the supervisor who was with me, I didn't notice, but he slipped away behind me and he was hiding behind the car. And as I'm walking closer, I'm saying, "Hey, what are you doing?" And the kid turns around and he starts walking towards me, and he starts going to his pocket. And I'm not kidding you, Ruben. For a moment there, I thought, this is it. What did I do? Why am I so stupid? Why did I do this? Who do I care? These tag. This is not worth me dying for. And I really was frightened. I said, "Oh, I really thought this was." When you feel those experiences, like I might die here. I really thought I was gonna get shot. And all of a sudden, a car comes by, and they open the door and they pick up the kid, and he jumps into the car and they leave. And then, of course, my friend comes off, from hiding, and he goes, "What were you doing that for?" I go, "I don't know. I just saw wrong happening, and I just went to it to stop it." But I wasn't thinking right, man. I was just young. I was young, 25, like 26-year-old teacher. And so, yeah, there you go. Can you top that, Rube? Rube Dog?
I think I can.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In fact, you brought up Saya.
Yeah.
Wrong move. I know I can.
I got some others too.
What?
I said I have some others that say, I'm just joking. Go ahead.
Here's my story from Saya. I'm going to say his name because I love his name. Jorge Alcantar. If you're out there, Jorge, this is a praise. There was a kid named Jorge who was rough, just hard on the class, hard on me. And back then at Saya, we were the judge, jury, and executioner. I mean, we could just expel a kid, right?
Pretty close, yeah.
At least when I was working at my site, there was no oversight except in a limited way. Mm-hmm. Where if I basically said I'm gonna expel this kid, they listened very intently, and I had to expel this kid. He was just running, he was just rampaging through the school. So, when you expel a kid, often they get arrested, they get violated by their probation officer.
Sure.
So he disappeared. He was gone for a year.
Thank you.
A year, yeah, it was gone. A year later, he knocks on my door. And I knew him. He had glasses. But
Mhm.
he's the same kid. He looks the same. I go, can I help you? Mr. Aguilar, are you serious? What's your name? I don't know who you are. Jorge. No, me. I don't know. I knew a Jorge. I thought I knew a Jorge, but I don't know Jorge. He goes, Mr. Aguilar, please. I need to get back in here. I go, it's not going to happen. You're never coming back. And he says, please. And I go, it's not. And he says, well, I'll put you this way. If you let me back in here, the moment I do anything, the moment I slip up once, kick me out. The moment I say a cuss word, kick me out. I go, the moment you curse, kick you out? Really? I can't wait to kick you out twice. Because I was playing that game. And he goes, yeah, do it. You're on. 3 months later, this kid who was studying and serious, I had to go up to him and I said, you have clearly changed.
Wow.
Clearly changed. I got to know what happened to you. And he says, you know what? When I got kicked out, I got arrested right away.
Mm.
And he said that I spent my birthday in jail.
Mm.
I spent Thanksgiving in jail. I spent Christmas in jail. He says, and I didn't realize they tell you to eat when you want to eat, when you're supposed to eat. They tell you to pee when you need to pee. He goes, and when I was sitting there in my pee, because I peed my pants, he says, I'm never coming back here again. And so to me, it was really great because he proved himself when he came out, you know. So I never forgot that kid.
Jorge, right?
Jorge.
Wow, good stuff. Good story. I'm not sure if I could top that one. It's always good to have a good story coming out of SEA because there's not that many. You know that. We had these graduations there, as you remember. Those are always good days. Okay, my last story is
You
it's
better
gonna
top
be
that one. You gotta go because that's the goal. That's the game.
all right.
I gotta start. I'm gonna top that one. I gotta start. I'm gonna top that one
It's
because
another.
my last story is gonna be the best.
Oh, I
So
kind
you
of want
gotta
to
go for
change
the
it.
best. You gotta hit the home run because I got a home run ready. I have one in my back pocket. Come on, step up.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna change it. I was gonna go.
Change it. Audible.
I'm gonna do an audible. There was this young man that he was. I met him. I believe he was in the 10th grade world history class. He had this long hair. This is the current school I'm at, and you know he was always answering questions in the back. He was in a basic class. He was in honors or anything, and he'd always just raise his hand and answer questions. And I was like, wow, this kid would be great in my academic decathlon team. He would be perfect. So I approached him one day. I go, would you like to be part of the academic decathlon team? He goes, what's that? So I explained to him what the decathlon team was. He goes, all right. So next year I have him in class in U.S. history, and he joins my decathlon team. Somewhere towards, I think, the end of the year, he shaves off all his hair too. He's just, it just real musically inclined too. Real quiet dude, kind of like, a little funny too if you talk to him. His name's Salvador Aguilar, the same last name as us. And so Salvador stays in the team.
Salvador, our cousin?
Not our cousin. No, not our
We don't
cousin.
have a Salvador cousin.
We
I
don't
was
have
just
a
joking.
cousin. Yeah. So I don't think we do. So senior, very cute. Senior year, he sticks with it again. He comes back, and we talk, and he tells me nobody ever went to college, or at least not a 4-year college. I know his sisters went to JC, but or finished college in his. And I said, well, you could do it, Sal. And he goes, oh, I don't know. So I said, okay. So he really works, hard that year. He goes to, I believe, in my AP courses that year. And then and he really does well in economics, which was with another teacher. And he stays with the team, and he actually gets a medal in interview. I believe it was interview. It might have been speech, but I think it was interview. And the academic, it's very difficult to get medals. They don't give them to everybody. There's only a few they give out for each subject. Okay, he gets a medal, and he was so proud of it. I was so proud of him. Took it to his mother, just really, really emotional. So that's not the end of the story. Salvador ends up going to Dominguez Hills for 4 years. His brother follows him. who maybe wasn't, I had him as well, named Lewis, great guy named Lewis. And so Sal goes and he finishes college, and he and I keep in contact. And then I get a phone call earlier this year saying, Mr. Aguilar, would you be interested in taking Salvador Aguilar as your student teacher? And I said, of course. I didn't want to take it because this is a difficult year to be a master teacher, for a student teacher. I've done it a few times before in the past. I just didn't want to do it this year. How could you say no to a Salvador Aguilar? So I said, of course. He's teaching my classes right now, 3 out of my 5.
What are you doing?
Good job. No, that's not true. No, we talk every day, but dude, he is teaching. He is hitting a home run. He's got it. I always tell him, you either got it, you don't got it. Buddy, you got it. And top that, Ruben.
The only way I could top something heartwarming like that is through humor.
Got a little emotional.
Or through some kind of. So I'm going to call another audible. I don't know if this can win it, but this
Who would let the audience decide? Huh?
We'll let the audience decide. Comment on who told the best stories. But I really like that one. And
thank you. It was an audible too. I changed it.
I know Salvador Aguilar is because he's commented a few times in on our videos. So shout out to Salvador Aguilar.
He's awesome.
But one day, this is my first teaching assignment at SAIT, not my TA assignment, my first teacher assignment at SAIT, and it was a rough year. And I got a call one day. Ruben, ¿cómo está? I go, hello, do I know you? My name is Danny. I'm from Cesar recommended you for me to speak. You can speak to my kids. My kids have had a rough time. They have a tough background. Yeah, my brother. I'm from the streets, and I got let out a few years ago. And I talked to kids. I go, come on down, please. Talk to my kids. So he came. So he comes to my door. This old veterano in a suit. He comes in, and right behind him is a guy with a net head, shades, like this. Yeah. And I like the guy who shook my hand, the old veterano who talked to me on the phone. He was really nice, real personable. But the guy behind him was like some of my kids. And I was like, I got a bad feeling about this. Something's going to go down. I already felt something was going to go down. I was like, ugh. I almost said, I don't know. And Danny goes, let me talk. And Danny, I still remember his name. Danny goes, let me talk to you guys. And he told an incredible story. I still remember his story. But the story after his story is going to top his story about how he said when he was in jail, when he was in prison, his father died. And they let him go to the funeral of his father. And he goes, they brought me in chains. He goes, my brother was also in prison at the time, and they brought him in chains from the other side of the coffin. And he goes, in the middle was my mother. And he goes, I see my mother weeping over my father while their 2 sons are coming from both ends in shackles. And he says, I'm out. I'll never forget. He told such a great story. He goes, I'm out. They're going to have to kill me. But he goes, I'm out of this. I'm out of this gang. And I remember hearing him thinking, I know why Caesar told me about this guy, because this is an incredible story. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, I'm about to call this guy out and dox him. I'll call him S. I won't say his name. Front row, one of my toughest kids, whispering the whole time and not hearing a word. And I'm a little bit embarrassed, just like coming up to him. You know how teachers can be and just we don't want to. And finally, this nethead shades guy gets up and goes, hey, bro, what the hell, bro? what? And then my student goes, what? And then I watch this and I'm like, uh-oh. And the shade guy goes, what? And then Downey's like, and then again, my student, 16-year-old student, steps up to this guy, this veteran with the glasses, goes, what? Again, what? And then did I ever tell you this?
Never. Never heard the story.
This guy with the shades goes, step up. He goes, step up. Let's go. Step up. And my student blinks. And then I knew it was over.
Right.
He's like,
sorry.
He goes, I told you to step up. You need to step up. Youngin, step up.
Wow.
And he didn't. And he goes, that's what I thought. You're soft. You're all soft. This whole class is soft. You know why? Because you're in school. You're soft. You're not real hardcore. Because if you're hardcore, you'd leave school and you'd run drugs for me. But none of you are hard. You're soft. And the first thing I tell my youngsters is to leave school. But the fact that you're here means you're hard, but in a different way. You're trying to work at school. So go at it hard. Because when I left again, I left it hard. He took off the neck head, took off the talisman, and he had a tie underneath. And he had left, but it was a skit. And he wasn't a gang anymore. And they were all fooled. The whole class was fooled. Because and it was the best thing I'd ever seen.
Wow.
And I learned a lot about how it is. I learned about what it means to be real in both worlds.
Yeah.
So, story time, Prod and Deliver. What do you think? Leave a comment, like the video, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys.